r/CustomMagic is a subreddit for, well, custom Magic cards, and if you don't know what Magic the Gathering is, card game, usually fantasy themed, currently flooding the game with cards from other IPs. Anyways, people love this game enough to make their own cards with interesting ideas or cool arts or just because they had a funny thought. Enter Area 51 Escapee.
Hello. I started a small YouTube thing that I didn't know would explode, and it did.
This is him, and on August 1st, Area 51 Escapee would make a post titled "Kill This Creature, Day 1, the Lonely Sentinel." Under it would be a picture of the Lonely Sentinel, a vanilla 2-mana 1/5 creature survivor, the last watchman of a forgotten relic. Unfortunately for him, he has found that death is now but a harsh lesson. The rest of the post would be instructions telling viewers to comment vintage legal cards, and that the suggestion with the most upvotes would kill the creature. The next day, the Lonely Sentinel would come back, somehow immune to all previous suggestions. The top comment for the day was Infernal Reckoning, suggested by Super Dave 100. Day 2, the Lonely Sentinel's cost becomes 1 and a white, making him an invalid target for Infernal Reckoning. The top comment was Depressurize, suggested by Mango Dude. Day 3, the Lone Sentinel's stats becomes a 4/5, no longer dying to depressurize. This is also the first day where Area 51 Escapee starts keeping an imager album for those to easily see the progress. Ignoxian suggests Chill to the Bone. Day 4, the last watchman of a forgotten relic. The demons, the ice, even the cold nothingness, all just shifts at his post. The day comes with an obvious edit. The Lonely Sentinel now costs a snow mana and a white, becoming a snow creature. Since basically the start, the Unease has been suggesting Cast Down, specifically to make the Lonely Sentinel legendary, and so we get more attached to it, which was stated in every comment the Unease left about Cast Down. Day 5. Blank, the Lonely Sentinel is now legendary. I wonder what the deal with that is.
I had written, hey, now that it's legendary, you guys can vote on a name too. And the top comment was actually something to the effect of leave him nameless. Or like, just leave him as a Lonely Sentinel, it's better that way.
He already has
that's what it was,
in the name.
Way.
Yeah, alright.
Yeah, which I liked. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with him. Anyways, top comment suggested by WaterMonster29 is Power Word Kill, which gives us a few options. The Lonely Sentinel needs to be either an angel, a demon, a devil, or a dragon, and I think there's an obvious choice. Day 6. The Lonely Sentinel is now an angel, and if you're familiar with the game, you know what needs to be done now, right? Out of the 265 angel creatures as of Edge of Eternities, only 3 angels do not have flying. The Weeping Angel from Doctor Who, Sustaining Spirit who got errated, and Lightstall Inquisitor from Edge of Eternities. And you have Yuri the Thief to thank for suggesting Defenestrate. Day 7. As well as gaining flying, the card has had nearly a full rework. The name's been adjusted to the Lone Sentinel, the art's been updated, and so the flavor text. Eventually he ascended, and from above he began to find purpose in his watch. One must imagine him happy. At this point, there's some discussion brought up in the comments about how many creature types the Lone Sentinel is allowed to have, brought up by Bose237. They suggest that we should be able to reach 3 creature types before swapping to Changeling, which is all creature types, since that's the highest amount of creature types actually printed on a legal card. Except, pop quiz, which card has been printed with 4 creature types on its type line? Is it A, Priest of Gix, B, Ranger on Vec, or C, Sedan Scout? It's A, Priest of Gix. All 3 of these have been errated to have 4 creature types, adding Human and Cleric, and then Phyrexian to Priest, Human Archer, Ranger to the Ranger, and Scout Archer to the Scout, but Priest of Gix got a reprint in Foundation's Jumpstart that has all 4 types visible. Strange looking, isn't it? Well, Maple Syrup Machine Guns suggest cut propulsion, and now we've got some questions. The obvious answer is to increase the Lone Sentinel's health to twice the attack plus 1. Alternatively, we could give him protection from red, but that would remove nearly every red spell. Absorb 4 could be interesting, but it's similar to increasing the health since we're allowed 1 card a day. Time would tell what Area 51 Escapee would do. Day 8. Protection from snow. For reference, protection is a keyword that means 4 things. It can't be damaged by, can't be enchanted or equipped by, can't be blocked by, and can't be targeted by. Also, snow is a super type of card that can be thrown on anything related to snow. Ignoring lands, there's only 80 snow cards and 12 of them could be considered removal, so protection from snow limits very little. Now, how does that work? Cut Propulsion specifically states the creature deals damage to itself. The Lone Sentinel is a snow permanent, so protection from snow blocks any damage from itself. Alright, are we clear? People love commenting about how Cut Propulsion would still kill throughout the rest of this series when it wouldn't, so just to make it clear. Anyways, Shinard suggests Portable Hull, a good, simple removal. Day 9. The Lone Sentinel now costs a snow and 2 white. Neat! Flavor text update. As he reflected on his duty from above, the snowstorm provided quiet sanctuary. The cold never bothered him anyway. Which, yeah, is a Frozen reference, but is sweet considering protection from snow. Top comment from Aurora Borosaurus is Heartless Act, a personal favorite of mine. The obvious solution is that the Lone Sentinel should enter with a +1/+1 counter, but that's too easy, and adjust the stats from what it is in the bottom right. Some people suggested ward of some kind, or replacing the flying keyword with enters with a flying counter. So what do we get? Day 10. This creature enters with a palliation counter on it. Okay, so that counter belongs to Palliation Accord as a part of Dissension back in 2006. You know Dissension, right? Grand Arbiter Augustin IV, Experimental Crag, Dovescape, the Cycle of Ravnica Signets, Shocklands? Yeah, that's Dissension. So you can read the card. Palliation Accord uses shield counters. Until April 29th, 2022, the release of Streets of New Capenna, one of the major new mechanics is shield counters, where the next time a permanent with a shield counter would be destroyed or take damage, prevent that and remove the counter. That's why Palliation Accord now uses palliation counters, but how in the world did Area 51 Escapee land on that?
And so what I did was I just opened up the wiki and I looked at the list of counters. I just went through all the way down the list of counters, and by the time I got through the list, there was like 5 or 6 that were like, oh, this is an interesting name. I looked up what the word meant, and palliation is like giving surface treatment of a sickness while not curing the underlying condition.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's like really on topic for what we're doing here.
Yeah. No, extremely on topic.
I thought it was kind of fun that it was like just from this one single card.
Didn't get any alt arts, has never been reprinted.
It was so niche. It was so unique. And I thought the uniqueness of it paired with the meaning of the word that the counter had was a good enough combo to go with it.
Yeah.
And so that's where it came from.
So yeah, once again, he manages to hit this one out of the park, and the idea of a palliation counter ties into the new flavor text. The cold offered repose, if not relief. The next removal would be from Junior Dean 114, Brain Spoil. Thanks to Wilds of Eldraine, we now have roll tokens which help counter Brain Spoil, but there's a few issues. Because of protection from snow, the Lone Sentinel cannot target itself. Also, unlike tokens which can use the phrasing "this creature enters with," auras require something to attach to before they enter the battlefield. To clarify with an example, Brilliant Restoration returns all artifacts and enchantments from your graveyard to the battlefield. Field Creeper is an artifact creature, and Curiosity is an enchantment aura, and both are in the graveyard. You might assume that I'd be able to return Field Creeper and attach Curiosity to it, but Curiosity requires a creature to attach to as it enters. This means that if I had a different creature on the battlefield as Brilliant Restoration resolves, Curiosity could enchant that one, but not something entering the battlefield with it. Day 11. When this creature enters, create a Virtuous Roll token attached to it. This dodges both issues by not targeting with the aura, this method has precedent with Cursed Courtier, and by having the aura spawn in response to the creature entering. This is the first time for a few things. There's no flavor text, there's now a frequently asked questions section, and there's still one person asking how cut propulsion doesn't kill, even though there's an FAQ directly about it. Oh, sorry, 2 people. And don't you fucking worry, Human Pickle Rick. People will continue asking about cut propulsion no matter what happens. Anyways, today's winner is He43, who suggested Guilt Leaf Winnower. Day 12. Down to 4-4 in stats and swapped out the Virtuous role for a Young Hero role, which effectively does nothing for the Lone Sentinel. Great! The flavor text also makes a triumphant return. Though it felt like eternity has passed, by angelic standards, he was barely grown. The next 3 removals are pretty simple, so I'll speed past them. Jade Torgo 3 suggests Ultimate Price. Day 13, Sentinel is now white-blue. I'm not going to try to pronounce that, goes for Red Elemental Blast. Day 14, Sentinel is red-white, and with new flavor text. As he watched from above, his very nature began to shift. Did he now feel curious about his post, or just passionate for his work? Triax Rax. Sure, goes with the obvious blue elemental blast. Day 15 Sentinel is green-white with the new flavor text. And then he had a goddamn identity crisis because his colors kept changing. QOL account finally has their time to shine, as after 7 days of suggesting rend flesh, they finally get it. Day 16. Protection from Snow and Arcane. There are a total of 93 cards that are arcane. 19 of those could remove the Sentinel now or in the future, and only 17 of those target. Not bad. 2 other things changed. The text box was cleaned slightly, as by having then used, you can get around the timing issues of entering with an aura, as seen on Not Dead After All. Thanks to 10 billion dreams for that. Also, the flavor text changed. The longer he watched, the deeper his connection to this plane became. I also want to mention Dark Adam 48 for this comment covering every requirement the Lone Sentinel needs to have. The top comment by Hollow Image is Eliminate. Let's fast forward a little bit more. Day 17 Sentinel cost 1, a snow, a green, and a white. QOL's back, this time with the Doom Blade, long time coming. Day 18 shifts the cost to a snow, white, black, and green with the flavor text updated. As he contemplated his watch, he began to understand why he had been chosen. The top comment from Captain Red B gives us Halo Hunter, but due to power word kill, the type has to shift to a demon, devil, or dragon. Also, why are we still asking about cut propulsion? Day 19 reveals the consequences of her actions. Our Sentinel is a devil. No matter what I become, I will stand watch for you, for all of us. The top comment is a card that's been suggested for a while now, Rolling Earthquake, this time offered by Not Bobby125. Day 20. As he delved further into the darkness, he found something unexpected. A friend. Yeah, he has Horsemanship now. For those unaware, Horsemanship, it's a reflavored flying for use in Portal 3 Kingdoms. You know Portal 3 Kingdoms, right? Was specifically made for new players back in 1997. Didn't have instants, enchantments, or artifacts. Had such cult classic cards like Borrowing 100,000 Arrows, Imperial Seal, Riding the Delu Horse. No? Just me? It was a weird time on Hell's Cube. Let's take a second and look at some comments. I haven't actually shown the massive comment Area 51 Escapee would post daily. I've had to cut it into 2 parts here. The list of credits and the FAQ, both of which continue to grow. In the replies, there's some interesting questions. Does the Lone Sentinel have to survive each card separately or one after another? Currently, it doesn't matter, but the idea is that the opponent gets to cast all of the listed removals one after another. Except it does matter. Day 2's Depressurize would lower the attack, making Day 11's Guilt Leaf Winnower able to kill. So basically we have all the cards we've suggested in hand, but can only cast 1 to remove this man. Someone else is asking about palliation counters, which, fair enough. If you're unfamiliar with Heartless Act, it's a valid question. Huh, that one's been deleted. I wonder if... No, for fuck's sake. Okay, top comment. A friend. Oh, okay. Yeah, I can agree with that. While he might be the lone Sentinel, he's no longer alone. But the top comment is from Broken Lord Ike, Azuri's Predation, and we'll fast forward the next bit. Day 21 Sentinel increases his stats from 4-4 to 5-5. J-Mass 7 gives us Fry, and Day 22 Sentinel goes up to a 6-6 and gives us new flavor text. Even if he forgot himself in the dark, he resolved to never forget his purpose. And since we're slowing a bit, I might as well, 6 replies to the card fetcher? If I open this and see the word propulsion or cut, I'm just gonna skip to the next bit. Oh, for live Mango 418 gets his time in the spotlight, giving us Asphyxiate, which destroys an untapped creature. However, there's not a clear answer on how to dodge that. Instead of surprising us, Area 51 Escapee replies. Since this seems like the clear favorite today, I'm going to be productive and ask what you think is the best way to work around this is. I don't like having a tap ability without Sentinel having haste, so I see 3 options. 1. For 0 mana, tap or untap the lone Sentinel. This is by far the easiest and shortest version, and also future-proofs against assassinate spells. My biggest issue with this is that so far the card has been surviving autonomously. This version would, in my mind, break the 4th wall of this challenge by requiring activation from a player. 2. Whenever the lone Sentinel becomes the target of a spell, tap it if it's untapped, otherwise untap it. This is a longer, wordier version, while still future-proofing, but to me follows the spirit of the challenge more closely. 3. Protection, hexproof from black, sorceries, mana value 3. Obviously a bit of a cop-out, but adding protection does let me simplify some other things along the way. Protection from black covers the most. Protection from sorcery would cover 3 other spells, including Brain Spoil, and protection from mana value 3 would cover 3 as well. I think that 1 and 2 are the best options, and I would personally like to see 2, but I can understand valuing the total text over flavor. And the response is overwhelmingly option 2. So, day 23. Whenever the lone Sentinel becomes the target of a spell, tap it if it's untapped. Otherwise, untap it. Yeah, that's a wanky ability. Oh, and the flavor text. As he endured the abyss, something within him began to grow, began to emerge. Alright, interesting. Today's comment includes a section nearly begging for less comments about the wording, but hey, I don't see any cult propulsion, so that's sweet. Anyways, top comment is Resounding Thunder, cycled, and I think we both know what happens here. Day 24. The Sentinel is a 7/7 now, and the top comment from Young Duboy suggests Ruthless Lawbringer, and specifically stating a dislike for basic stat or color changes. Day 25. Protection from assassins, and while the black maelstrom raged without and within, all he could think of was home. Huh, weird. Also in the bottom left there's a 5. Anyways, top comments provided by Analogmon, who's spent the last 5 days asking for Cornered by Black Mages, which requires a sacrifice. And now for our next trick. Day 26. If the lone Sentinel would enter, it enters with a palliation counter on it instead, then create a young hero role token attached to it, then create a 3/3 colorless Pegasus vehicle kindred artifact token with flying and crew 1. At the eye of the twisted hurricane, he bore witness to the lurching, antediluvian truth. And the bottom left now has a 4. So at this point, people were talking about what's going on. The corrupted text was on the card, the body of the post, the comments credit list, and the FAQ. My personal favorite has to be the swap from a young hero role to a young martyr. One of the previous winners, the Unease, translates some of the credits list, so yeah, something's happening. Most people seem interested by this and the countdown, some believing that we're in the end game now. Others aren't as happy with this text change. By my count, we've got about 5 comments that are explicitly negative and about 7 explicitly positive, and most people not caring to mention it one way or another, but the positive ones float to the top, getting significantly more upvotes. The second top comment, or first comment with a suggestion, belongs to Fahrenheit the Blade. Extinguish all hope. Day 27. So, legendary snow enchantment creature. He realized at last with thought-shattering, abominable clarity that he was not alone. 3 in the bottom left, and here's the full post. I'm not going to attempt to read the rest of that, but because I love this kind of stuff, let's go through it. The title probably says, "If I Could Start Again a Million Miles Away," which is a song lyric from Johnny Cash or 9 Inch Nails' Hurt. The starting body text usually says, "If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." This text lines up 1-to-1, making me believe that it technically hasn't changed. A part of me wants to believe that this is some encoded text, but the biggest issue is that the letters don't match. Hypothetically, if the first word "if" gets translated to WL, with a straight substitution cipher, any future I's should be W's and F's L's. But I is the number 1, and F in powerful is a W. Just looking at the word "will" shows that there are 2 L's with different letters entirely. There could be a transposition cipher, but the fact that the text's still 1-to-1 and the frequency of letters is different makes me think it was just randomly swapped out. Hey, editing pan here. I've gotten confirmation that this text and a good chunk of the other text is just random stuff. Whoops. I need to finish this video. Hexproof from Mana something 3 is Russian for "help me." It was there yesterday. Down in the daily credits and FAQs, Maple Syrup Machine Gun got replaced with that, which I've got nothing. And a palliation counter got swapped to a damnation counter, which is funny, I think. That's all I've got for edits, so let's talk about some comments. The freaky text's getting closer to unreadable IMO. OP's getting bored of this, confirmed. I've been observing this little game since it started, and have been enjoying seeing the card evolved, but I do want to voice alongside others that the corrupted glitch text gimmick is already starting to become quite annoying. Yeah, I assume the text is a bit, but it's really annoying. Yeah, my interest is really dropping off with this. There's also 2 replies to Area 51's comment explicitly asking not to have wonky text. So obviously there's a lot more explicitly negative comments, but there's still a good chunk of people thoroughly enjoying this turn. Responses to someone asking about the crankled text are all playing along. Same goes for the replies about this possibly becoming an analog horror. Even the replies to that freaky text comment are all enjoying it. Also, I hope to God this isn't a 2-hour video essay. Anyways, things can't get much more complicated as that countdown's ticking ever closer. I mean, what do we have for today? Top comment is Repentant Vampire. Looks like the card is a little more text than it usually has. Let's see here. Split second for the rest of Kill This Creature posts by Area 51 escapee. Remove the lone sentinel from Reddit if this post contains any unreadable text. The post cannot be regenerated. This effect ignores protection, hexproof, indestructible, and shroud. Will of the comments. When this creature becomes the most upvoted comment on the next Kill This Creature post, create a cursed and regular comment. After 24 hours, if cursed has more upvotes, the above ability is countered for the following posts disregarding split second. Erratas, huh? Day 28. This is what would have been Day 28. Day 28 was never posted, and Area 51 escapee's account was deleted. The end of Kill This Creature sits here, unfinished and never to be completed. Once people started realizing the community was in shambles. Some people left comments on that last post, others made their own posts about it, like GD Silver and Goat Knight, and I'm a big fan of the latter. Some familiar names show up in the comments, and at this point it's safe to say that some people were being overly aggressive about how much they hated the corrupted text. Either way, the subreddit was flooded with a variety of tributes, both cards and people attempting to restart the series, but none of them are the lone Sentinel. Okay, so I need to paint a picture of a hypothetical person. Let's call them John. And if they hypothetically do exist, do not find and harass them. Okay? Cool. You find this series partway through, at about day 14, when the colors are changing back and forth, and you want to participate. But you don't have any particular cards in mind, so instead of handcrafting a solution, you head over to Scryfall and hit that funny little random card button, and you choose to hit it until you find a card that would work. And you leave a comment when it does. And when someone complains that your suggested removal is going too far, you just say that you're an envoy of the randomizer. On the 10th day of randomizing, you manage to become the top voted card. Resounding Thunder cycled, adding another +1/+1 to the Sentinel's stats. And as you see this corrupted text start, it's whatever. You're just here to make random Scryfall suggestions. But on day 27, you make your suggestion, Conclave Tribunal. Then it takes you 7 minutes to make another comment. Abandoning your gimmick, you attempt to rally both sides by making a call to fix the Sentinel. He's supposed to be a heavenly paladin, not some corrupted demon, and you give a flavorful suggestion of Repentant Vampire. Based on the timestamps, you edit it about an hour later, well after it's obvious that you're winning this vote. You throw in some stuff about forcing Area 51 escapee to remove the corrupted text, and later you realize that some people might like the corrupted text and throw on a will of the comments part. And the next day, when there's no Kill This Creature post and people are talking, you read through some of it. You find someone disappointed that they didn't get to capture the cards, and you make a comment. Oh, you absolutely still can do that. OP was kind enough that they only deleted their account, but not the posts themselves. Just type Kill This Creature into the CustomMagic's posts feed, and you should see all the posts there. Additionally, I think the imager gallery of past versions are still available, since OP even left his comments untouched. It's quite nice of him, to be honest, letting the amazing and entertaining chain of August 2025 be archived for future generations. Can't wait for the YouTube video essay on this subject. Now, I would like you to imagine how I felt, knowing that this hypothetical John hijacked his top comment to insert an ultimatum that goes against how a good chunk of the community felt. Do you understand why I am making this video? Can you feel how I felt seeing that the person responsible for ending this series prematurely doesn't feel a lick of remorse? This is the third time I'm rewriting this video's script. The first one ended there. And after I finished writing that first script and started gathering the resources for the video, there was a new post that caught my eye. 2 days after the last Kill This Creature post, a throwaway account by the name of Long Live the Sentinel makes a post titled Kill This Creature, a Debrief. This post claims to be the deleted Area 51 escapee talking about a variety of things, and I'll read some sections here. First, I want to reiterate that I truly loved doing this with everyone. I wasn't getting bored, and I had plans to build up to a phase 2 of the game and continue on. But as the challenge progressed, there were small things that started to add up, cracks that started to form. People asked for previous cards to be linked, others wanted an album with former versions of the Sentinel, endless comments asking about palliation counters and critiquing the wording of abilities. None of these by themselves were negatives, and I was more than willing to explain wordings and provide historical context, but the fun to labor ratio was slowly beginning to tip, even if I didn't want to admit it. Obviously, this came to a head during the last few days, where it seemed that many people didn't like the direction I was taking. By day 27, it seemed like most comments were either asking me to stop or saying I was getting bored. It felt like the effort I was putting into this was being rejected, and I eventually made the tough choice to call it off. For context, the plan was to build up to a reset, where the Sentinel would come back with hexproof and the challenge would continue as normal. Narratively, the Sentinel was slowly becoming self-aware and was evolving to a higher state, which ties into gaining hexproof. I really liked that Extinguish All Hope both got around hexproof and made the Sentinel an enchantment, and I was going to use that to have him come back with the type line Enchantment Creature Survivor God. This is where we get the image of what would have been Day 28's Sentinel, along with what Day 30, after the countdown, would have been. Now, John saw this post and had left their own comment. Once again, do not be like these two people. These people are assholes. If you have a negative opinion, you can keep it to yourself, and if you really need something to not hate this John guy, I will give you something later. There's a reason why I had to rewrite this script for a third time. Either way, here's some quotes from John. Hi OP, as the winner of the last Kill This Creature post, I can't shake the feeling that the premature ending was a little bit my fault, and if I, or edits on the final comment, contributed to your choice to end this project, I'd like to sincerely apologize. My reasoning for the submission and the edits was an attempt to embody the voice of the community in a flavorful way. I, and I dare say the majority of people, had no idea what was happening and why. It was way too sudden and unexpected for comfort, so naturally people made unwanted conclusions, such as you getting bored. Anyways, now that I know what the intention was, I feel bad for not seeing it to a reasonable end. So, after seeing this, I felt like I had to include this update, but I might as well make sure I didn't miss anything, right? So, if you unchecked Long Live the Sentinel's profile, you'd find a deleted reply to John's comment, except it's not deleted anymore, and so I'll read this one in full. I'm glad you enjoyed the challenge, and I appreciate the high praise. Your intention behind the Repentant Vampire post was clear to me, and in a vacuum was a concise way to give the community a clear chance to make their voices heard. From the community's perspective, it made a lot of sense. To me, your comment seemed like the community disliked my narrative so much that they wanted to take over the direction of the challenge. Mutiny is a strong word, but in the moment, that's what it felt like. I definitely didn't think you're at fault for anything. I didn't take offense to anything in your comment, and you did a good job of representing the community's feelings. If anything, your comment was the straw that broke the camel's back. To go back to the fun-to-labor ratio, I saw that people wanted me to make 2 separate posts with different versions on top of everything else, and that, combined with the growing disconnect between my vision and the community's wishes, was what made it not worth it for me to continue. Again, you individually are not to blame. I appreciate your contributions and thought you did a good job of speaking for the masses. So, what now? If this was my second script, I'd start talking about the nature of storytelling, about how the effort required to make is always more than it is to partake, and leave the video off, suggesting that people who create such intricate and interesting items deserve better. But I did one other thing. I messaged that throwaway account, and I didn't expect to hear back. I believed I wasn't going to hear back after 24 hours, so I finished the script and started booting up Shotcut and tried to figure out how to do a scrolling background again. 60 hours after I messaged, I got a response, and much later that night, I got an interview. But before we get into that, I need to have the owner of the throwaway account prove that they're the same person as Area 51 Escapee. I have asked him after our interview to update the imager links that were originally used specifically for Kill This Creature. If we go to part 2, it did not used to have the day 27, day 28, and now includes a screenshot of our Discord call. This is for you, Pan. Appreciate it. So yeah, Long Live the Sentinel is absolutely Area 51 Escapee. I have no doubts. With that out of the way, let's talk about something that I think matters a lot here. What did Area 51 Escapee actually intend with this series?
Honestly, I expected like murder or Doomblade or something like that to be the first couple of ones.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect it to be as niche and specific as it was. I thought it was going to be like a week, and it was like day 1, indestructible. Day 2, protection from black. Day 3, can't be exiled. And then like, you know, after 10 days...
You thought it was going to get ridiculous immediately.
I thought we were going to be casting like farewells and, you know, whatever that Zimone's hypothesis thing was by like week 1. I think the majority correctly surmised that in order for this to be fun and in order for us to have a good time with this, we need to take it slow and like savor the process. And I don't think I expected the community to jump on board with that. And again, I think it was the community that made it such a big deal and not necessarily like my input into it. I think it was people buying into the idea and going along with it that made it such a cool experience.
With this in mind, I believe a change of framework is in order. This wasn't something prepared. This isn't someone planning a story and having to deal with people telling you you're doing it wrong. And once you realize that Kill This Creature was a true instance of cooperative storytelling, it becomes much harder to blame the community and John for accidentally ending it. So then, the immediate follow-up is, was this ending because of burnout? Obviously, as Area 51 escapee stated many times, he had a great time doing this, and I personally know that even if you are having fun, doing something hard enough for long enough can easily cause burnout. So I decided to get context of what led him to end the series.
Top comment is, hey, we're going to try and undo this thing that you're doing. To me, that was a big enough disconnect between what I wanted to do and what the community wanted to do that I was just like, I don't know how I can reconcile this while still being true to the vision that I had. And so I thought about it. I was thinking about it all day of like, how can I make this work? How can I do this in a way that's satisfying for me and for the community? And eventually in the evening, I was like, I've been thinking about this all day. Like I have devoted the good part of a full day to trying to think about this and make it work. And that's not what I signed up for.
Yeah.
Like, if I am going to be stressing about this and trying to come up with solutions to the point where, like, it's affecting, like, I have a full-time job. Like, I have a life outside of this that I need to devote time and attention to. And if this little Reddit post is taking away from the rest of my life, that's something that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was like, okay, I just need to wash my hands of this. Again, it's that fun to labor ratio. I was having fun. I wanted to keep doing it, but that balance had swung too far out of reach.
I don't know about you, but someone realizing that what they're doing doesn't work anymore sounds like, I'm not sure how to word this. Sounds like a well-balanced person. Someone who has their life put together or grounded. I've never had the reflection skills to realize that I'm doing something that isn't sustainable before I take a 9-month break from making videos. I just cannot possibly blame Area 51 escapee for the ending of this project. If you really want to get down to it, yes, the people dogpiling about the corrupted text did lead to the series' premature ending, but I cannot find it in me to blame them. So, what was the point of all of this? Was Kill This Creature ever meant to be a discussion around the whole dies to removal critique?
I don't think so. I don't think I, thought that much into it beyond... let's just see where this goes.
Well, fuck, man. Fine. Okay, this is a story about setting expectations and...
The mistake was that no one asked me. No one sent me DMs. No one even, commented saying, hey, what's the end goal of this? I would have been willing if people asked me privately to say, yeah, I want to keep doing this. I want to, and this is this is how I am trying to keep doing this.
Fucking fine. Yeah, it's talking to each other. Have any of you realized that talking fixes like a lot of issues? I mean, I was this close to writing a hit piece against a random person on Reddit because I believe they slighted a creator. I mean, I'm still not asking John for their opinion. It would be a really short interview, but like, if I didn't ask Escapee for an interview, this video would be way shorter and way worse. Getting an interview is what led me to create what I think is my best video that I've ever made, and I'm so glad I tried doing it again for this one, because people love fucking talking for some reason. So I guess there's a really good reason why every fucking post asking for help on the Dungeons and Dragons subreddit ends with people saying talk to your players or talk to your DM, and this fucking sucks. I hate talking to people. The easiest people to talk to are the people in my comments because they're in my comments, and the people that I've read their entire published works. I mean, fucking kill this creature. Why don't we change that to have a chat with this creature? Fucking sit him down. Maybe we can ask him why he keeps coming back. Has he not died the way he wanted to? Pangaming here. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to listen to the full 55-minute interview, it's the first link in the description or the video on the left. Thanks again to Area 51 Escapee for running Kill This Creature, and if you'd like to take a look yourself, there's a link in the description. That's it for me, Pangaming, signing off. Candy trail costs 1 mana, and it's an entire trail of candy. I mean, fuck it, man. Get him a